The Rebel Capitalist Show.
Well, we've got a lot to talk about. The world is a very interesting place. I said back in 2020 that from a freedom and liberty standpoint, I thought that I really kind of look at things through that Lenin quote, which I'm sure you're familiar with, when he said that there's decades that go by when nothing happens and weeks that go by when decades happen. And I think
Wow.
we saw that play out with our freedom and liberty. And I said in 2022 that I thought we'd see um, that same kind of quote play out with macroeconomics. And I think that's exactly what we're seeing now. But you've had some incredible insights on your videos lately. Can you walk us through some of those, specifically the one regarding Ukraine and Russia, and trying to get people to think through this clearly without using emotion?
Well, emotion traps us and causes people to make bad decisions. It happens all the time. I mean, when when the Bush administration was pushing the Iraq war, I bought it hook, line, and sinker. All the fictitious evidence that they produced, and they were trying to sell us something. And politicians are always trying to sell you something.
Yeah.
That's how they get elected, is selling you on ideas that they think you're going to like. But that video was basically about stepping back and taking a breath, calming down, and gaining some perspective. And one of the things that I noticed, you talked about freedom and liberty. Well, we lost a lot of it during the pandemic. It was just amazing, the amount of censorship that happened, the amount of as we get closer and closer to the end of the pandemic here, we're finding out that a whole lot of the stuff that was labeled the misinformation was actually correct information.
Yeah.
And the stuff that was the official stance was actually the misinformation.
Yeah. What I've been saying on Twitter, Mike, is today's science is yesterday's misinformation.
Yes. Yeah. It's absolutely true now. And the big tech and mass media now has this control over us, to where, that video opened with basically everybody is being manipulated these days. You're being manipulated. I'm being manipulated. The audience is being manipulated. Right. And it's sort of our job to try to sort of calm down and then discern for ourselves what's really going on, by trying to strip away as much misinformation as possible. And the way that I've found to do that is you have to look at both sides, both sets of propaganda. It's like, most of the people that that point at Robert Malone, Dr. Robert Malone, and Pierre Corey, and all of these other people that are on one side of the pandemic issue, they point at them and they say, they're crazy. There's these lunatic conspiracy people, and they have to be blocked from all media. Nobody can know what they say. But the people that actually watch them, those people that say that, have not watched the videos. They didn't watch, the Senate discussions with Rob Johnson, Senator Ron Johnson. They didn't watch that. They didn't watch Joe Rogan, the appearance on Joe Rogan that everybody got all up in a roar about. They just take little snippets. So the people that are saying that they have to be banned are the people that haven't seen the whole thing. They've only seen a snippet here and a snippet there. Oh, that's misinformation. And we're doing the same thing with the Ukraine. We're developing our opinions based on sound bites. That's always dangerous, and it opens you up for manipulation. And so what I do, before I made any comments on this, what I wanted to do was to show an old video. I did a presentation back in 2015 at the Silver Summit, I believe it was in San Francisco. There's a couple of mistakes in it. I usually don't, I try my hardest not to have any mistakes. I don't like generating or propagating misinformation. That is something that I agonize over these things. But I made a presentation showing there was a video that had come out that was not carried on the mainstream media, and it was Vladimir Putin, the president of the Russian Federation, giving a press conference about how the world is being dragged toward nuclear war. This is back in 2015 that I found this video, and I couldn't believe that it wasn't aired anywhere on the Western media. And basically, with the snippets from that, and then showing the progression of NATO, our expansion of NATO, to where, before this video, I haven't done it. Maybe somebody can do this for me and put it in the comments on your video. But I didn't measure our border with Canada and Russia's border from Estonia and Latvia all the way across I believe Belarus is not going to be a NATO member. But when you add up all of the NATO countries, if the Ukraine is included, this is going to be very much like Russia making Canada an ally and being able to put military bases in Canada. And, we freaked out when there was going to be Russian military bases in the Western Hemisphere, when, the Cuban Missile Crisis, and it brought us very close to nuclear war. We learned nothing from history. And here we are again, but the shoe is on the other foot. We're promoting this, and I don't want to alienate any of your viewers. What I want your viewers to do is to sort of step back and take a breath and say, well, regardless of what my opinion is now, let's look at both sides. So in getting ready for that video, I went and read a bunch of articles on Pravda and Russia Today. And I wanted to see the official propaganda that is being put out that their population reads, and the official propaganda that we are being hammered over the head with every day with our big media and stuff. When you do this and you see the two different sides, and they are quite divergent, and they're pointing at each other and they're saying, he said this, no, this is his fault. Strip out all the information that is different. Whatever is common to both sides is probably the root cause of the problem. We've got a gas pipe, Nord Stream 2, I believe it is, that is doubling the volume of the Nord Stream pipeline that goes under the North Sea to Germany. And that will give Russia a huge lever that they can pull, and they can throttle back. If they're supplying an immense volume of energy to Europe, and then they can just throttle it back at any time, they've got control over Europe. Well, we don't want that. Putin doesn't want US military bases and NATO countries all along his border. That is a giant threat. And from his point of view, he cannot let it happen. And so I made this video back in 2015. Unbeknownst to me, there was another video made by Professor, I can't remember his first name, but Merzheimer. He had made a presentation. It looks like it's an hour and 20 minutes long. Everybody should go and watch this. It's not. It's like 40 minutes long, and then the rest is questions and answers. And I watch it at 2 times the speed. I'm trying to consume as much information as possible. So for all of your viewers, any YouTube video, you click the little gear in the corner and you can select the speed. And depending on how the person speaks, you can get very intelligible information at 1.255 times, 1.75, or 2 times speed. And you can save yourself a lot of time and consume a lot more information.
Yeah, I sound way smarter at 2 times. If I watch my own videos, which I do, I only do that for editing. The editors send me the clips before I approve them. I always listen to them in double time, and I said, I sound pretty smart, and I listen to them in normal time, and then I go back to sounding like a jackass.
That's hilarious. So anyway, it's all about gaining perspective. And I made a suggestion. I don't know how old you are, but you may or may not have heard Donovan's Universal Soldier, which he didn't write the song, but it's an absolute masterpiece of an anti-war song. Well, and the end line is, he's the universal soldier and he really is to blame. His orders come from far away no more. They come from here and there, and you and me and brothers, can't you see this is not the way to put the end to war? So that's the end lyric. And the thing is, if you substitute voter or follower, because it's the biggest problem, what will doom mankind is the follow the leader mentality. We all have this follow the leader mentality where every 4 years we hold some popularity contest so we can find some guy that isn't too difficult to look at and doesn't put his foot in his mouth in a 3-word sentence. Well, going back to the Bush administration, that didn't quite happen, but sometimes he would put his foot in his mouth in a 3-word sentence. But we do this and we elect them to tell us how to run our lives. And part of staying in power is you have to keep your population, your own constituency, scared of somebody else that you're going to protect them from, that, or a virus, or this or that. There's a whole, you come up with this endless stream of threats to keep the population off kilter, and you're the one that's going to save them. Or you sell them on a whole bunch of programs and ideas where their lives are going to be so much better because everybody's going to get a bunch of free stuff. You don't have to worry. You're going to be able to live for free. Elect me and I'll do that. I'll tax these people, take part of their lifetimes, and distribute them among you, and you're going to be a lot better. And since the vast majority of the population, imagine a whole bunch of people trying to get into Disneyland, and every one of them says, oh, he's richer than me, he'll pay for it. And then the next, oh, he's richer than me, then he'll pay for it. And then the last guy, what truly is fair? I view like entrance into society as buying a ticket into Disneyland. What is fair? Should we all be paying our own way, or should the person that produces the most, should everything be taken from them so that all of us can get in for free, the non-producers and such? Anyway, it's all about stepping back and gaining perspective, and then making up your own mind on what's really going on, because we're constantly being lied to, and we need to try and see through the lies. And if your audience really wants to gain some true perspective, and this goes for not just the Ukraine situation or political stuff that's going on, but if you've got a tragedy in the family, or if you've lost a job, or if you've been diagnosed with cancer, it doesn't matter what it is, watch Pale Blue Dot. This is an absolute masterpiece by Carl Sagan, and it gives you a perspective on life. And it's 4 minutes long. The best version is about 5.5 minutes long. It's titled something like the best video on humanity or something like that. But various people have taken this audio clip and put in a bunch of images. And this one, every time I've been watching it since I made my video. I told people in there, watch this every morning for a week to try and gain some real perspective on our place in the universe and how precious life is. And I have been actually doing that myself. I watch it every day. And, one of my viewers said he watched it. I got a lot of people that sent in comments saying that they watched it and they cried. It's the most important video that they've ever seen. And I find myself, when I watch it, and I've watched it more than 50 times, less than 100 over my, the past 10 years or whatever, since I first discovered it. And I quiver inside and my eyes tear up still after seeing it that many times. It truly gives you perspective. I would urge all of your viewers to watch that. But gain some perspective and make up your own mind was my message.
Yeah, for sure.